Those poor snakes were never monsters. They are actually a nice, peaceful species, but not harmless. They are wild creatures. They don't communicate. But their favorite thing is home and culture. They were taken by scientists away from their home. They were kidnapped and harmfully studied. They hurt them, contained them, and drained every emotion from them. Except for one, rage. They were taken from their home, experienced high levels of cruelty, and if they had been hurt or kidnapped, they will track the target down and kill them. Their rules were, never forget, never forgive, and never stop. They will hold a grudge for a lifetime, until they are dead. They were peaceful towards innocent. That's why they never attacked Purple Cat as a child. They were taken away from their families and culture, their home, and that will result in death of depression. But they will do anything to destroy all those who heard it until time is over and maybe survive and take over the world, all because of us.
Hollow Creek, 1963. In 1963, Hollow Creek was chosen for a reason. It was quiet, isolated, unremarkable to most, but already unstable. Subtle distortions of reality had been noticed by a few observant eyes, small enough to dismiss, yet strong enough to conceal experiments that should never have been conducted. Among those drawn to Hollow Creek was Frank, a scientist whose work remained classified even decades later. Father to the Purple Cat, Frank was part of a secret program dedicated to studying life that slipped through the cracks between worlds. These were not aliens and ships, but leaks. Living organisms from realities humans were never meant to touch. Frank believed that knowledge equaled control. He was wrong. The first mistake. The experiment began simply enough. A stable observation window was to be forced open, a single specimen captured, and its behavior studied outside its own reality. But as the experiment pushed boundaries it was never meant to breach, chaos ensued. Frank suffered severe injuries. Reality itself began to destabilize inside the lab, and unnoticed, something small escaped. A tiny, serpent-like creature, barely alive, crawled into Frank's suitcase. There were no alarms, no records. The creature went home with him, silent and invisible. The snake in the house. For months, the creature hid. It survived by feeding on heat, electrical hums, and a type of fear it barely understood. Slowly, it grew. By the time it reached medium size, it revealed itself. One night, it lunged at Frank. The Purple Cat, still a child, witnessed it. The serpent's eyes met his, and then something terrifying happened. It ignored him entirely. Instead, it fled, returning toward the laboratory as if it remembered a place it had never truly left. The return. The snake was not alone. That night, Hollow Creek's skies and streets filled with others, unidentified entities stolen from their own worlds, confused, aggressive, and broken. The town had never been meant to contain them. Among them, however, was a singular, older creature, the Controller. Unlike the others, it was not violent by nature. It understood the wrongs committed by humans, their theft, their traps, their experiments. It began hunting the reckless, the unstable, and the dangerous, leaving only survivors bound by its rules. The rule of possession. The Controller's judgment was precise. If it could not locate the humans responsible, it would possess them, partially, just enough to observe, to learn, to wait. Hollow Creek became a cage, but also a laboratory of sorts, and time became a weapon. Hollow Creek in 1983. 20 years later, the town had decayed. People vanished quietly. Memories faltered. Buildings seemed wrong. And the truth emerged. There were now 4 serpents, 1 original survivor and 3 newly born. Each birth took 3 months, and each new serpent grew faster than the last. These were no mindless monsters. They were scouts, advancing a plan that had always been written in the stars. If the 3 younger snakes matured, the breach would not only reopen Hollow Creek, it would expose the world. Their species would no longer hide, and when they came, it would not be loud. It would be everywhere, all at once. The mission. The survivors understood too late. The only way to stop them was to destroy them before full maturity. Containment or study would only repeat the mistakes of the past. They had to be killed. The Purple Cat's role. The Purple Cat remembered what no one else did. The serpents did not attack him as they did others. He had been there first, a witness, a survivor, a variable the creatures had not anticipated. The Controller watched him. The Controller watched him closely, not as an enemy, but as a potential replacement. The core truth. Hollow Creek is not cursed, it is infected. There will be no government cleanup, no cover-up, no saving the town. Time is the enemy now, and 3 months is already running out. If you want, I can also make an even more